more of that. I got plenty of those mints.
Okay, we're rolling.
Hmm?
We're rolling. So you want to pull it up on your end?
That's what I'm getting ready to do. My phone is so doggone slow. I don't know why.
Do my check.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 3. Okay. I don't have it yet. I don't understand that.
Sounds good.
I just ain't figured out why my mic is so my phone is so delayed. I got a sweet tooth today.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1. Loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
Ready, my friend?
Let's do it, my buddy.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to week 11 edition of high school football here in the state of Louisiana. We are live from Gary Swallow's Taekwondo Martial Arts building here in Opelousas, Louisiana. They ask, where are you guys from? Anytime we go somewhere, Gary Swallow, we are from Port Barre, Louisiana,
from the
but the
Pope.
studio is in Opelousas, Louisiana. So when we make our hour trips, we make our 2.5 hour trips, just know we love what we do.
That's
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen, like we said, we are live from your studio, my
Right.
friend.
Yes, sir.
And how about we introduce the man himself at this time? Go ahead, my friend.
Well, hello, guys. I'm Gary Swallow. I'm the owner of Tiger Rock Martial Arts in Opelousas, Louisiana. And we are also the home base for Under the Lights. As you can see, our studio is set up here. And we love what we do. This is week 11, or should I say playoff football, high school style. You know, that's what it is. Man, I can't wait. I'm excited. A lot of excitement to talk about. A lot of picks to make. A lot of success for some of these teams, and some of these teams, you know, squeaked in. Some of these teams dominated, and I mean, it's unbelievable. A lot of excitement, Jordy.
Gary, did you blink and we fell into the playoffs already?
Man, it seems like, you know, yesterday we were starting week 1, and you know, it's now we're in week 11. Man, that is amazing, and you know what? I'm excited. I'm excited all the way around because high school football is just one of the most exciting times of the year for me, anyway.
Gary Swallow, hold your drink up till one of the better football seasons we ever got to cover together.
You right, my friend. You right. You got
So
it.
these coaches putting together these schedules this
Right.
year, putting together insane matchups.
Best matchups we've had as far as in the last 4 years. We can honestly say that.
And some places we got to travel that we never thought we would ever see in our lifetime.
Right, and I mean exciting games, exciting stadiums, atmospheres. I mean, we've seen it all this year.
A toast to the regular season, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen.
Right.
Close the door on the regular season, my friend. It is playoff time. Mr. Swallow, and the cool weather is moving in just in time.
Just in time, yes. I am so excited, for the playoffs. Because of my business, I'm not going to be able to cover with you, but we're going to be on top of it. I'm excited to see this. Can't wait to see the first round results. Next week is going to be an exciting week because of all the teams that had byes.
They're going to be back in
play. It's going to be. So, man, we got a lot of excitement, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to pick, a lot of teams to pick, a lot of just a lot of things to do.
Yes, indeed, my friend. We could not use the camera equipment tonight. Producer's not here, and also the Wi-Fi decided to go dodo.
Dodo. And I don't know what it is. We've been having issues at the the city in this area, and I don't know what's going on, but we're lucky to have our backup Old Faithful.
Old Faithful.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, a brand new helmet joins the Under the Lights set tonight. They ain't got no decals on it
No.
because they don't wear no decals up north.
Nope.
All the way from up north, it's made its way down to the studio, ladies and gentlemen.
Where's it from, Jordy?
A good buddy, a great follower of Under the Lights, made sure that we would get his football team on the show from here on out.
Right.
And guess what, Gary Swallow? Say hello to Oak Grove, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Oak
excited.
Grove, they done made it to the Under the Lights show all the way from up north. Thank you so much to Oak Grove being a part of our platform now.
I'm going to tell you, they mailed it to my house, and when I was walking in, I was like going, okay, who's this? Who is this? Where'd this come from? And then I looked, I said, oh, Oak Grove. I said, man, I'm excited. And I opened it up. Man,
Boy, if we can
that
have
face mask made me get excited. I said, that's a true lineman face mask.
You're right. If we could just have an OG to put on it.
Yeah, that's okay, but that's not them. They don't have that on their helmets.
Right,
I don't
right.
think they're just solid black. And you know what? But we're gonna put a little sticker that says we know who it's for.
Right. But thank you so much to Oak Grove
Yeah.
joining our family here
Yes.
at Under the Lights.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we look at the table. You see some matchups. You got a rematch from Week 10 here.
Right.
You got a rematch from a couple weeks ago in the district race between Northwest and Iota. OC and St. Ed's.
That was last week.
Two district matchups meeting again in the playoffs. You hate that it has to be like that because you're going to lose one of your locals.
Right, and
One of your locals from each side.
and the
You
bad
wish
part.
they could have went elsewhere and played
Right.
somebody they're not familiar with.
Correct. I wish it, even on different sides of the bracket or something like that, or even maybe get matched up later on down the road. It's sad, but that's the way it fell.
That's the way the brackets fell, my friend. So we talk about. We don't have a big show planned tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to make our picks for all 8 brackets. We're only doing our locals and the best games in the state.
Right.
Because we got some buys and we have some teams we don't really cover or never really talked about. So you got some bad matchups, you know what I'm saying?
Right, most definitely.
So a couple of these faces here have first round buys above us, right here in front of us. Not even playing football this week.
Right.
They're getting healthy. They're probably working on both teams. Probably see a coach go out to a game.
Right.
And
I have to tell you this. I actually had one of my former students who's actually a player at Opelousas High School, CJ, and he came in to visit me earlier today. He said, "Mr. Gary," and I was looking at him, and I told him that I was following him, and how I was real excited to see him play. And he said, Mr. Gary, he said, we're going for it. So, man, I'm excited to see it. But I told him, he said, we're getting healthy, then look out. I said, well, go for it, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about the Halloween
That's Halloween candies.
candy for week 11? A lot of people been wondering, Gary Swallow,
Yes, sir.
where is the Under the Lights crew headed for round one of the playoffs?
Oh, I don't know, man. We want to. We need to. We need to figure that out.
Gary, you have a lot of stuff that goes into play
Right.
that has to get approved
Right.
from both parties before
Yeah.
you can even step foot at a playoff game
Right.
and cover a football game.
We actually had a couple people that basically said no.
We had some say no,
Yeah.
which is understandable,
Understandable, right?
and no hard feelings.
Oh no, not at all. It's just, and I understand. It's the way it flows. And you know what? No hard feelings from anybody over here, guys. I understand exactly what you're doing. But we did get somebody that said yes.
Somebody jumped on board, and they wanted us there.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited.
Talk to both coaches. Love to have us there. Guess what, Gary Swallow? We're going to go cover a really good football game in round one.
I'm excited. I'm just so sad that I can't be there. I'm going to be at a martial arts tournament because that's what I do for a living. But I'm going to be at a tournament this weekend. It's sad, but Jordy can handle it. I know he can do a good job, and I'm going to be watching because we're setting up. I'm going to be getting out there Friday. Once I stop, I'm going to be tuning in to Under the Lights to watch this ball game.
And then the recap show might be by myself Friday night.
Yeah, well, it may be, but
Which I did recap
Yeah.
shows by myself before.
right. But I'm sorry, but like I said, it's first week, and that's our busy time of the year. And we've been busy, and I can't say nothing but thank you, Opelousas in the St. Landry Parish area, for keeping things exciting here. But man, I'm just jealous that you're going to be having all the fun by yourself.
Gary Swallow, what's your call-in number tonight?
Call-in number for the phone?
Yeah.
337-351-1882 is my cell number, and that's what my phone is right there. We're going to have if you want to call in, call in.
If you want to call in, talk about your playoff matchup, talk about your district champs, how proud of you are as you're them, talk about some matchups throughout the state. We're going to have that period later on because this is one of our shorter shows tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be quick.
We only got two of us.
Mm-hmm.
No guest picker tonight. I tried. I got a lot of no's this week. People have stuff going on.
Right. Well, the beginning of a lot of seasons, I know we got a lot of people that are getting their softball stuff ready and everything like that. They're doing. I've been watching on Facebook, basketball season getting ready to kick off, and I know exactly what's happening, guys.
We got coaching shows going on around the state, so.
How to say it? No hard feelings at all, guys. I know what it's like.
Yep. There's been a topic on unfair for some of these teams in these brackets, Gary.
Right.
You got some 1As playing some 2As.
Correct.
You got some 3As playing some 4As.
Right.
And you got some 4As playing some 5As
Right.
this week, which could be a huge disadvantage.
Right.
But where were you at back when this vote was made in week 2 of the regular season?
Right.
You can't cry about it now.
No.
Whenever it should have been done week 2 of the regular season.
Well, I understand what they're doing, and I'll be honest with you. It's the only thing that I say is that their non-district seasons or games are going to be a lot more exciting because you have to play PowerPoint, for the PowerPoints. We have some teams that, we were talking about it earlier. We had some teams that actually were higher than they played somebody and they dropped. And we've seen that all year because it depends on the strength of your opponent.
Right. Only 4 divisions
Right.
this year.
And you know what? You got 4 and 4.
4 and 4.
And you don't have 5. We used to talk about it. Say you got 5 classes and 4 divisions. Well, they just said, well, we're going to make it match, and it's 4 and 4.
They went by score Roman, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Exactly.
To put these teams where they need to go, right?
Jordy, I'm gonna tell you, I don't have a problem with the way that they're making it out, because it's gonna, to me, it's gonna be more exciting.
It's going to be some exciting matchups, but there's a lot of teams that's going to face some of those higher tier programs that ain't going to be able to compete.
Well, correct, and that's the only downfall that I see is when you have a smaller school that may struggle, but
But what would the vote look like in January?
Yeah, we don't know.
We might see something completely different in January.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, we said that. January comes around when they have their meeting. This might all get thrown in the trash and start from scratch. It's so, it's fair in some ways, it's great in some ways, and it's unfair in some ways too with these smaller schools. On any given day, somebody can get beat though. Oh, most definitely. With the way that it's set up now, I think it's going to be something that's going to stay around for a little while to at least tweak it. There's going to be tweaks every year. It's just major changes. I don't know if we're going to have any major changes now.
The way I look at it, Gary, December 10th, when all 8 state champions are crowned, it's going to be one of the few times we've seen it actually earned throughout the whole playoffs.
Correct, and that's what I'm saying.
From round 1 all the way until they're crowned champions.
Right.
It's going to be one of the more funner playoffs, the one where they have to earn it week in and week out.
Right.
Sometimes they had teams getting buys all the way to the quarters.
Correct.
You had teams getting playing teams that they beat by 50 every round, and they get into the dome, and it's another because of the level of talent they're playing.
We've also seen dominating teams that have had no resistance get to the dome, and then it's a flop. The team that they're playing ends up hitting them in the mouth.
They're playing less tier competition.
Correct.
Leading up to that point, they meet up with somebody in the dome.
Right.
Now they're going to be playing competition all the way up.
Right. The way that the schedule is now, because we were looking at it, there's not going to be anybody. I would say this week some teams are going to have.
You're going to see some lopsided scores. But next
week is when it starts getting serious. We talked about this. When are we going to see the people, put to a test? Well, I'm going to be wanting to tell you. I think it's going to be starting next week.
You wanted the 0-10s,
correct?
The 1-9s to get out the playoffs,
right? Exactly. Well, they did. They got it.
They got it that way. We got eight brackets.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a hell of a playoffs.
Right.
All 8. Because some of these matchups that we will have these next few weeks leading up to the dome, dream matchups.
Oh, I think
Blockbuster matchups where you pay good money to see.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. When we were doing the bracket show on Sunday, and we were talking about our quarters and semi and finalists and all that stuff. That's our guess and everything like that. But you have to play the game, and this first week's going to be setting up the beginning of a war. And I hate to say it that way because it's sort of, but you're going to have teams battling. So basically,
the recap shows are going to be really fun.
Yeah, you're going to have after this week in each division, you're going to have 16 teams battling it out, and then they're going to go down to 8, and then they're going to go down to 4, and then they go down to 2, and all that. But after this week, this is where they have to basically put it on and go. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be interesting.
You're going to see some higher seeds because the playing field is almost equal.
Correct.
It's not all the way equal.
No.
But you got some higher seeds that can go knock off some lower seeds.
The old saying, on any given day, someone can be beat. Well, the competition is getting closer to these high-ranked teams, and now they got it to where it goes by your power rankings, it goes by how you do it, and I'm gonna tell you, it's it's amazing, and I'm excited for the competition, the level of competition. Because you know as well as I do, I'd rather go watch a good game than watch a blowout. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but over the years, we've gone to the championship games or even the playoffs, and we thought it was going to be a knockdown, drag out, a good close game, and it was a blowout. And I mean, we're sitting out there, and you got a team beating somebody 50 something to nothing or 50 something to 6.
State championship games.
Yeah, it's amazing. I like to see a game that is 4 quarters of knockdown, drag out. Go.
And when those two teams get to the Dome in all 8 divisions, I think we will get that.
Oh, I think this is going to be probably the tightest championship rounds. When you get to the quarters and semis, I think it's going to be close every game.
There's one bracket that I made a claim on Saturday that the state championship game will be in the quarterfinals.
Right.
That's hard. That's hard to say.
Well, no,
but the way the bracket falls sometimes, and in that one, it fell that way.
It fell that way, yeah.
Well, Mr. Swallow, we can go on all night.
Well, we can, and we talk good stuff too.
About the state championships, because you think about it, that's our Christmas before our Christmas.
Right. You're right.
It's something we look forward to the entire year. Whenever that weekend comes around, it's a entire weekend spent in New Orleans.
Right.
You book your rooms. You go to every game. You freaking spend. You don't want to see your bank account after you leave New Orleans.
No, you don't.
So.
But I'm gonna lie to you. I've been trying to book my rooms, and they've been blocked. So I know why they're blocked. They're blocked probably because they want to see who all's gonna go before they do that. But I've been working on trying to get a room, and I got my peoples working on it too. So I got a few people working on that, and hopefully, there's one of them. Hey, Miss Mandy. Hopefully we're going to be able to get a room and
we'll get our
get out
normal
there
seats?
and get our normal seats where we can get in there. And I'm excited. There's a lot of things exciting about the Dome, but when you go there and you watch these young men.
Gary, what's
there.
it been for you? How many years in a row?
Oh,
I've been every year since 2013. How about
God.
you? Has it been farther than that?
It's a little bit further than that. I'd probably say 10.
10?
10.
And some people
Some
are
well,
20 plus.
I got to admit, and it was at first it was like one day. I wouldn't go the whole week, and then I got to the point to where I was able to do it, and I said, the heck with it, I'm going for all of them. And it was at one time it was just Friday and Saturday. Then it became Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah.
Then it went back to Friday and Saturday, and now it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday
Correct.
again. So, I'm excited. I take time off. I will actually, and I tell this to all my students, I said, I'm taking a mini vacation. This is what you're going to do, and I'm going to watch the state finals. So I'm closed Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Sunday, Mr. Swallow,
Yes, sir.
we had our state championship game picks when we did our live show, correct?
Correct.
Who did you pick for Division I non-select?
Division I non-select as
Who's in
far
your
as
state championship game?
Ruston and Destrehan.
I got the same thing, my
Yeah.
friend. Somebody in the chat got the same thing there. So, Ruston and Destrehan, a lot of people think those two teams are on a collision course to me.
I think so, too. I was looking at it. As a matter of fact, we looked at it from that.
I picked Ruston. Who you got?
I actually picked Ruston also. I think
you go.
Destrehan's going to be tough, but I think it's going to be an exciting ball game because let me tell you something. Destrehan has been quiet all year. Not many people talking about them, but Ruston's Ruston.
Yeah, Ruston's on that it's their year
Yes,
type of attitude.
I think so too.
Another question was, how far y'all think Opelousas will go? I got Opelousas in the state title.
I'm with you.
And we had 6 people here the other night, and not everybody put them in the
No,
state title.
actually, let's see.
Not everybody
No,
put OHS in the
I put
title.
them in the state title game, and I actually picked them to win it.
I think it was
I
a
actually
split. I
picked
think it
them.
was a split. I think me, you, and maybe Holden went,
It went OHS.
and Chris.
Yeah, well, Chris always
And
goes.
then the other two
two
went elsewhere. Yes.
But I'm gonna tell you, I think it's going to be an exciting ball game. I think it's going to be one of the
What local teams you think have a shot to win state from St. Landry to Acadian? Locals wise, I think it's OHS, the only one I put for St. Landry.
VC.
I put Vermilion Catholic from the Acadiana area. And then Baton Rouge wise, I put ULAB.
Yeah.
And then who else, Gary? Am I missing somebody?
No, we got.
And I put Turlings.
Turlings
So
was in there. There's a few other ones that we, that are St. Thomas More. They had a couple.
I had Turlings beating St. Thomas More in the finals.
Okay, well, I had St. Thomas More. I picked St. Thomas More to win it all.
Yeah.
I picked ULAB.
But guess what,
DC.
Gary?
But that's a pick.
Somebody's going to get knocked out before we even get there.
Right.
You pick them now.
Right.
But they still got to go through that gauntlet of the playoffs.
Correct. Another challenge, and we're looking at the comments. Southside woke up a lot of people. Southside may make a run too.
They're on that tough
bubble.
side of the bracket.
Yeah, but they can.
They have a shot.
Yeah, they can do it.
Yes. For sure, Gary. People want to know where we're going Friday. It's kind of weird after the first 10 weeks covering a Thursday night game and not having the opportunity this week because we're in the playoffs.
Right.
So guess where I'm going, Gary?
Where you going, Jordy?
Cracklin Festival.
You going to the Cracklin Festival?
Cracklin Festival is in town here in Port Barre, Louisiana.
And I'm going to be kicking and punching that day.
It's family night.
Right.
I'm going to take my little boy to the Cracklin Festival, enjoy the rides. And then Friday, let's find out where we're going.
Let's find out where we're going next Friday.
Only chance for VC in Division 4 select will be Ouachita Christian. I think it's the winner of Christian and Glenbrook in the quarterfinals.
And you see, I picked.
That's gonna be a good one to meet up with VC in the dome.
I actually picked Opelousas Catholic to go to basically go to the semis, and actually no, I put them in the finals. I think but I'm gonna tell you, I think it's gonna be the battle of the OCs, either Ouachita Christian or Opelousas Catholic. But the hidden one is, like you said, is Glenbrook.
I like Glenbrook.
Glenbrook's
Glenbrook
good.
and VC, I think, got a shot to meet, but VC and Ouachita Christian also.
Right.
That's my three. Gary, where we going Friday?
Let's see, ladies and gentlemen, we have.
Just turn it around. So, pick it up. Bring it down. We're headed to Oakdale,
Louisiana.
Number 21 Franklin at number 12 Oakdale. You can put it down, Gary.
And I'm disappointed that I'm not going to be able to see my former student and offensive guru at Oakdale, Mikey, in person to watch his team play. But I will be there watching on Under the Lights.
Gary, we had this big old flyer planned to show
I know.
show tonight, but the freaking internet
is
isn't
not
allowing.
working. It's not allowing it, man. I don't know
we
what
had
it
to
is.
draw it on the old Sharpie board.
That's our old backup, man. That's exactly what we had. That's from the old days.
I feel embarrassed that we had to go that route.
But I feel excited that we actually have it to go to.
Right. So Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, live from Oakdale, Louisiana, it will be first round matchup in the Division 4 non-select playoffs between the number 21 ranked Franklin Hornets and the number 12 ranked Oakdale Warriors. Should be some fun. Franklin could give Oakdale a lot of problems with their speed Friday night.
The key is to see what Oakdale's offense can do.
Oakdale could give Franklin a lot of problems
with that veer and that power.
With that power veer offense.
Right.
So it should be a lot of fun Friday night. We saw Franklin upset Lowerville last year early in the playoffs. Could they be on the collision course to do it again?
It's possible. This is playoff football. Everybody has the same record, 0-0.
0-0, my friend.
And there's no telling it. If you are playing well, if someone gets hurt, weather conditions, all of that becomes a factor. And on any given day, somebody can upset you.
Right.
So the key is to make sure you stay up and don't let that happen.
Right. I want to say thank you to the football coaches and the administration at Oakdale, and also the football coaches at Franklin for allowing us to come cover your first round matchup this week. It's a great honor to bring you that one.
And that's what people don't understand. We have to get permission. We have to get everything set up. It's not just show up and shoot it. It has to be approved all the way across the board. So thank you guys. We appreciate everything. And like I said, Mikey, I'll be with you and watching you online.
All right, Mr. Swallow, let's jump to headlines of the week before we get some game picks in.
Let's do it.
We start off with Westminster of Lafayette.
Mhm.
So at any point you want to stop and talk about these headlines, Mr. Swallow, just go ahead.
We'll do it.
Westminster of Lafayette finishes 7-2 overall this season with a record of 5-2 against varsity teams. You got to remember, this is their first year playing LHSAA football, 11-man football.
Right.
They were playing 8-man football last year. They were not playing football at all the year before that.
Correct. This is only their second year actually.
Second
of
year
football.
of football.
That's right.
And first year of 11-man football. They finished 7-2 in their JV record and 5-2 against other varsity teams that they
Wow.
went against. Gary,
That's awesome. That's amazing.
they're going to be another good football team that comes out of the Lafayette area in a couple of years.
I agree with you on that, and they have everything going for them. They have everything there. I mean, golly, geez, they just have the drive. Just talking to the coach, just talking to the players. I mean, it was amazing to see, to listen to them, and I mean, they're doing it the right way.
Couple of their players, here's how they finished for the year. Their quarterback, Brock Stumps, he's a sophomore on that football team. He finished 125 passes complete out of 203.
Wow.
1,946 yards through the air, 26 touchdowns, and 7 INTs.
That's actually not bad. That's a pretty good year.
Some of his teammates, Nelson Gulas, Gulas Sr., 7 interceptions on defense, 11 touchdowns on offense. Two-way players for this football team. Congratulations on a great season. Evan Richard, 43 receptions, 938 yards, and 11 touchdowns.
Wow.
And Gabe Guillory, 76 rushing attempts for 753 yards and 12 touchdowns. Congratulations to that team. Bright future
that
ahead.
is amazing. And
Shout out to Coach over there. Great friend of us and great friend to the show.
right.
You need anything, just let us know.
He's, the minute I talked to him at the Jamboree, I've always had admiration for him. So, great job.
More headlines, ladies and gentlemen. How about Leesville? Right there. On the corner, the Wampus Cats. Their running back, they got a really good one, Gary.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do.
His name is Xavier Ford. He surpassed the 2,000-yard mark in a season for rushing yards this season. He's the third all-time to do so.
Really?
He joins a short list of company with some of these faces everyone might know.
Yeah.
Michael Ford and Cecil Collins.
Cecil the Diesel.
He's a sophomore.
Oh,
Swallow.
my God.
What this young man will be when it's all said and done. Congratulations
That's
to
amazing.
Xavier Ford bringing his team into the playoffs with a rushing record like that. It's going to be hard to stop.
Look out.
If you're picking your brackets, keep an eye out on Leesville and how far they can go in the bracket.
You are right.
Gary Swallow, 30-mile-per-hour winds. Kaplan, Louisiana. You know where I'm going with
Right,
this one.
yes.
Abbeville stops Kaplan's go-ahead 2-point conversion for the win.
By that much.
The 2-point conversion was no good. The Russo Trophy is headed back to Abbeville's trophy case.
Yeah.
What a game. 14-13 final score.
It was exciting. We had 30-mile-an-hour winds holding the tent, and you were so good at holding the tent with one hand and following the game with the other, as well as commentating. It was exciting, a lot of fun.
You had to multitask that night.
we had so much going on. I don't think we could have. And I gotta say, we did it. We had a lot of help from the Kaplan fans. We had one of the fans sitting down next to one of the legs of the tent, grabbing a hold of it, and we asked him, said, "Sir, you don't have to." He says, "Oh, I'm good. I'm helping y'all." And we had zip ties on it and everything. It was so much fun. But I want to thank all of those fans that helped us out.
Man,
it was
that
great.
Tent.
They even sent us pictures.
Gary,
of everything that's happening.
If we would have not put that tent tied down,
It
they'd
was
have
gone.
found it at the 40-yard line.
Probably so. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Gary, did you really think on senior night that Trey Holly would go out like that?
No.
They tried to go in and take the district title from Trey Holly and Union Parish on Trey Holly senior night. You knew this man would run wild.
And he did.
He did.
He did.
Trey Holly on senior night goes for 230 and 3 touchdowns, and the crowned district champs.
And he says, "I'm ready for more." Look out.
You know he has a bad taste in
Yeah.
his mouth. You know that whole team has one thing on their mind.
Right.
And
State championship.
The new season's here.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be an interesting deal. Stopping Trey Holly is almost impossible, Jordan, as far as, his team works so good. But look out. It's going to be interesting.
Gary Swallow, how about West Ouachita? I said that right?
Washington.
West Ouachita knocks off Alexandra Senior High 58-57 in double overtime. That was their first win against Ash since 2006. What a game.
Whoa, I didn't realize that, Jordan.
What a game,
I
Mr.
didn't
Swallow.
realize that.
Double overtime. They go and knock off Ash 58-57.
That must have been an exciting ball game.
You just want to be one of those people just sitting there enjoying it.
Watching it, yes. That's the type of game that, is exciting to see. I know you had one earlier this year like that. And, I haven't been able to see one yet. We've had some good games, but not one that was back and forth like that.
Something like this, you're jealous of who got to saw it.
Right. Yep.
Who got to see it.
Yep.
How about Iota? Iota's quarterback goes 15 of 18 for 196 yards and 3 touchdowns. And let's talk about his defense. Iota forces 6 turnovers and knocks off Church Point for the district title. 6.
Jordan, and I'm gonna tell you, that's not normal for Church Point.
Correct.
So Iotas must have been playing some possessed ball, going after the ball.
You had 23
ball hawks.
seniors on senior
Yeah.
night with one thing on their mind.
Beat Church Point. That's what they wanted to do. Can you imagine? Church Point has dominated this series for a long time. And they went out there with those seniors, they went out there and did it. But, 6 turnovers, you can't win a game like that. Even if a team as good as Church Point. And I'm going to tell you, I think Church Point's not done. I think they're going to make some noise.
They will.
But you can't, when you give the ball away 6 times, they can't win. You can't do that. As much as I love Church Point. They're one of my favorite teams. You know it and I know it. But you can't give the ball away like that. And that's what cost them.
How about Peyton Woodring from Ascension Episcopal? I think this might be a record in high school football in Louisiana. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But Peyton Woodring last week hits a 60-yard field goal. He is committed to Georgia right there at Ascension Episcopal. If that's the record, somebody let us know in the chat. But congratulations. He'll never forget that kick.
Right. But here's the kicker. He kicked a 49-yard one before that.
Correct. And came back with a 60 to end the night.
Can you imagine that? So that, man, I'm jealous because Georgia's going to be
Georgia
getting
got
a
a good kicker on the way.
Right.
South Plaquemine celebrates their first district title since 2016. We looked at their name in the bracket. We're going to see how far South Plaquemines can go. How about Avoyelles? Carlos Bazaret Jr. If you don't know the name, you better get on board, ladies and gentlemen, because Carlos Bazaret Jr. becomes the school's all-time leading rusher and touchdown leader.
Really?
At Avoyelles High School. Gary, his career record now sits at 4,700 yards and 64 touchdowns. Congratulations to Carlos Bazaret Jr., running back from Avoyelles.
If you've ever watched their offense is not, I won't lie to you, it's not pretty, but it is powerful. They put up points, and they pound the ball. They very seldom throw it. It's always
his record might not be broke for quite some time.
For a good while. Now, he's a senior this year, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
They said
amazing.
the record was set 21 years ago from a St. Thomas More kicker at 59 yards. So your new record holder is the Ascension Episcopal's kicker, Peyton Woodring.
Thank you, Amanda, for that info. I appreciate that. That man, 60 yards in high school. It's amazing because I remember when I wasn't alive when he did it. Well, no, I was alive, but I didn't see it. When Dempsey for the Saints kicked us in the pros, kicked
59 yards from a Ouachita Christian, so a couple of 59 yards out there in the state.
So I mean, that record has been, in the pros was 63 forever, and then all of a sudden you got kickers kicking from 65, 64, 65, 66, and it's unbelievable to see that.
But this is high school football.
But that's what I'm saying. That's pro.
This ain't normal.
This high school. What are these kids? Are these kids doing anything much? Oh yes, soccer. God, soccer is the best thing for a kicker. Oh, I'm saying, you play soccer and then you're gonna get on the football field and kick field goals and make a lot of money. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
A lot of money. He will make a lot of money too.
Oh, most definitely.
Acadiana, the Wrecking Rams. Boy, was that a scare. The Rams found themselves down 31-14 to Barb. It was all over, Gary. It was all said and done. Barb was fixing to get their signature win and potentially sneak into the playoffs. But they did not close the door.
Right.
Because here came Acadiana. They reeled off a huge comeback to knock off Barb 35-31. It was 31-14.
In the first half, Acadiana gave a ball away. They had I think 3-4 turnovers. I'm not really sure of the deal, but I know they had some turnovers, and that's what Barb capitalized on. Well, the second half, they pretty much said, we're not doing that no more, and we're going to drive this ball down, and we're going to score every time we get the ball. Guess what? They did.
They did.
And, look out. How do they say that? I would not underestimate Acadiana no matter what. And I think, look out. They're gonna make a run.
Gary, Riverdale is Acadiana's opponent this week.
Okay.
Riverdale travels to Acadiana this week. This is their first time ever in the LHSAA playoffs.
Really? Oh my God! And they're going to Wrecking Ram Stadium. Look out, buddy!
What a time to make the playoffs, and look where you got to go first round.
Yeah. Oh my God! Anything's possible, but it's not probable. Look out!
And if I'm not mistaken, I think they're 4A that are playing up.
Yeah.
because of the numbers.
The numbers that they, yeah.
Whew, that's a tough time
That
getting to the
is.
playoffs. And that's where you got to
Man.
go first round.
Yes.
Gary, how about Lakeshore? They make it a 6-peat, 6 in a row district champs after a 21-18 victory last week.
That's amazing. We
got one of our their coach now used to be at Catholic New Iberia. So very familiar. If they win this coming Friday, Gary, he's going to come back down to a place that
he's familiar.
he's familiar with, St. Ledger Parish,
Right.
and take on the Opelousas Tigers.
Mhm.
Can Lakeshore find their way down to Opelousas, Louisiana next week? Big game this week with Albany.
It's possible. It really is possible, but I don't know.
Right.
I really don't know.
Bunkie takes home the Catskin for the second year in a row with a big win over Marksville. I got somebody to explain to me what's a Catskin. I said it's a blanket made in half with half one side Marksville, half the other side Bunkie, and they put the scores from every year they play on the blanket.
Really?
So that's your Catskin.
Oh, wow.
Bunkie has the Catskin for the second year in a row.
Oh, wow. Go ahead. Don't underestimate Bunkie.
How about Ruston? We was talking about them a little bit earlier, Gary. They knock off West Monroe to break a 33-game losing streak and bring home the district title finally.
Right. So that's why I said whenever we
They're on a mission.
talked about that, they're on a mission to win it all. And Ruston, I'm going to tell you something. Ruston is a good ball club. And for them to do that to West Monroe after all of these years, man.
Long time coming.
Long time coming. But also, West Monroe is no slouch. So whoever's playing West Monroe, they got a bad taste in their mouth. Look out.
How about North DeSoto, Gary?
Mm-hmm.
Great thing here. A couple of them Marines came over to talk to the football team this past week, to talk to them about being leaders and also being a great teammate.
Right.
That's wonderful to hear.
That is,
At North DeSoto.
Being a part of a ball club, you have to have leaders. And, usually that's your senior class, junior and senior class that are your leaders. But you have to keep creating those leaders and teach them how to be leaders. And whenever you see something like that come in, and that just is so awesome. I think that that's a good thing, and I commend the coaches for allowing that to happen.
Correct.
Bringing that in. It's always good to have someone to look up to.
Gary, Lakeside defeats Green Oaks in triple overtime. A little
Wow.
Week 10 triple overtime
Wow.
drama.
That must have been an awesome game.
Gary, I got two more headlines for you before we get to our picks.
Let's do it.
Number one, John Curtis.
They're back.
No.
Hmm?
No. That's not where I'm going at.
Okay.
Because they got manhandled by Edna Core last
Oh
week.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
J.T. Curtis, the head football coach of John Curtis, was ejected for the first time in his 50-year coaching career late in the fourth quarter against Edna Core.
Really?
Welcome to the headlines.
I would have never thought it. Whoa, he must have really been hot under the collar. But Edna Carr was pretty much putting it on him, right?
It was like 3 flags in a row. That's something where a finger got too close to a referee, and then the next thing you know, first time in 50 years, J.T. Curtis had to watch the rest of the game elsewhere.
That's amazing.
You don't see something
see something like that with a coach the stature and of John T. Curtis. Wow.
Yeah, it's just crazy to see something like that happen. Last headline of the week. Troy, this one's for you. Under the Lights now sits at 14,000 followers.
Wow, 14,000?
14,000 followers coming into week 11. Thank you so much to everyone that has joined the journey throughout the process these last 4 years and have been by us every step of the way. Gary Swallow, just another milestone to say what has this show become and how much fun we've had along the way.
I can't believe that, us just talking about football has grown to this. I remember before I became part of it, I remember what you used to do and all this other stuff. But like you say, look at what we've got now, and it's only going to get better. Bigger and better.
Correct, my friend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will pick games in the playoffs. All 8 brackets. We're not going to pick every single game because we'll be here till midnight.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
So if we do skip by your game, don't wring our necks.
Yeah.
Next week, we probably will be picking every game.
Yeah. Next week, it's almost a given.
So when we get to that point next week, we would just be sitting on a lot of games right now.
Yeah.
And we like to debate some of these games and talk about these matchups.
Most definitely.
Gary, we're going to start off with Division 4 Select.
Okay.
And then we'll go Division 4 Non-Select right after.
Okay, that's fine. We get a Division 4 Select.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So if you would like to follow along with us, all you have to do is put your games in the chat of who you think's going to win. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We start with Division 4 Select. You got 8 teams earned a first round bye, will not be playing this week. It is Vermilion Catholic, St. Frederick's, St. Mary's, St. Martin's Episcopal, Ouachita Christian, Glenbrook, Riverside, and Central Catholic. That is your teams that have moved on to the second round of the playoffs. Will not have to play this week. Get healthy, rest up, and wait and see who you draw in the second round.
You're right.
All right, we're going to start off with a good old 16 versus 17 matchup, Gary Swallow.
Yes, sir.
Cedar Creek hosting Slaughter Community Charter with the right to take on the Screaming Eagles. Gary, who wins this football game, Cedar Creek or Slaughter Community Charter?
I'm not familiar with Slaughter too much, but I'm going to go Cedar Creek.
Good offense there versus good defense here.
Right. I'm going to go with Cedar Creek.
Gary, I'm agreeing with you. Give me Cedar Creek. One of my buddies over there does radio for them, so shout out to him and that Cedar Creek football team, and also a Port Barre alum that used to be the center on the football team is a assistant coach at Cedar Creek. So shout out to him.
Go ahead. Cool.
Hanson Memorial Delta Charter, Gary, who you like? 12 versus 21.
I think I'm gonna go with Hanson Memorial. We've seen them a couple times, and everything. I've been talking about them, so I'm gonna go with Hanson.
Hanson Memorial. This is kind of one of those trap games,
Yeah,
Gary.
it's kind of
Delta Charter can come in and win this football game. I'm gonna go with Hanson. Let's go with the local in this
right.
one. It's too early to tell what Delta Charter football team will show up this week.
Right.
Delhi Charter St. John's. 13 versus 20, Gary Swallow. Who you like?
I would probably say the home team. I'd say Delhi.
Delhi Charter for yourself. Gary Swallow, give me St. John
You think
on the
they
road.
got a well, hey, they got a shot.
They got a shot. Our first split of the night, my friend.
Hey, that's why we pick it, because we like to have fun.
Correct. 14 seed Sacred Heart versus 19 seed Covington Christian. The quarterback,
Covenant Christian.
Covington Christian, the quarterback from Sacred Heart, has a big night. And the Trojans roll in this one. Give me Sacred Heart.
I'm with you on that. I think Sacred Heart's going to be too strong.
Gary, it's early in the night
Right.
for a lock of the week, isn't it?
Right. Hey, not really.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to announce Holly's lock of the week. Every week from the past 10 weeks, she's did a lock of the week. She's 9-1 on the season. Every week she picks a matchup. She's not a hardcore follower of high school football like some of us,
Right.
but she still does her part.
Correct.
So she wanted to do this trend of Holly's lock of the week. So we have had this for the last 10 weeks. Gary, she's sitting 9-1.
Right.
Her only loss came week 2.
Right.
And
And that was a shock.
she's reeled off all these wins in a row. Can she get another one and improve to 10-1 on the season?
It's possible. Who she got?
11 seed Catholic Appoinkapee versus 22 seed Central Private. Holly Taylor, because we just got married. Holly Taylor says Catholic Appoinkapee over Central Private. Lock it in. That is Holly's lock of the week, ladies and gentlemen.
And I gotta agree.
I agree completely. The Hornets, Coach Vinny, good luck Friday night. Catholic Appoinkapee rolls big.
Yes, sir.
And your final game that we're picking tonight in the Division 4 Select Playoffs goes to 15 seed Opelousas Catholic and 18 seed St. Ed's Blue Jays. This is a rematch of last week. Gary, you got to regroup and play the same team again? Back-to-back weeks? How does that film look? You got to break down the film twice?
Yeah, I don't understand it, but that's the way the brackets fell. That's the way the committee or panel or computer, whatever, put it together.
Gary, your old saying, it's hard to beat somebody twice.
It is. But, this team, I'm going to tell you, this Opelousas Catholic team has been playing phenomenal this year. After they had
they set themselves up
Yeah.
in non-district play
Right.
with 3 juggernauts
and then
to get to this point.
They've been going ever since. So I mean, I love St. Ed's. I love watching their running back. That young freshman is a special person. But Opelousas Catholic, they're just kicking right now.
Gary,
so I'm going OC.
I don't think it's going to be as lopsided as it was in Week 10. I think it's more respectable this go-round. But the way they've been playing over the last few weeks, Opelousas Catholic could be one of those surprise high seeds, Cinderellas, that make their run.
Right, I agree with you on that. As a matter of fact, like I said, I picked them to at least get to the semifinals or the finals. So they're going to be making some noise.
Correct.
I think they're going to make a lot of noise.
Next up, ladies and gentlemen, it is Division 4 non-select. Your 4 teams that receive first round byes in Division 4 non-select is Kentwood, Basile, Mangum, and Homer. 3 of those teams are all too familiar with hosting gold at the end of the season.
You're right.
You look at this playoff here, you got some good matchups.
Yes, you do. They got some very good matchups here.
Division 4 non-select, you like to follow along? Put who you think in the chat. Who's going to win these matchups?
Correct.
We start off with General Trask and East Beauregard. 16 versus 17 for a right to go against the Roos.
All right.
General Trask, you know they have an explosive offense. Not one of their better seasons, but they're sitting around that middle of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to take on an East Beauregard team. Big O-line, really talented fullback. We take a look at it, Gary. What you thinking?
I'm thinking General Trask. I think it's going to be one of those rock'em sock'em ball games that could go either way. But I think Trask being at home is going to give them the edge.
Gary, I think this is a 4-hour trip for East Beauregard, if
Right.
I'm not mistaken.
Somewhere in that area, yes.
That's a long hike up north to take on a talented offense. They're going to have to play ball control. They're going to have to keep it out of their hands and just grind the clock out. Can they do it? They can.
They can,
But
yeah.
I have to lean with General Trask in this matchup.
Right.
I think it's going to be a close win for Trash.
Trash. I think so too, Jordy. I think it's going to, this is one of the, when you get a 16-17 seed matchup, that usually means that they're almost identical, and it can go either way. But I think Trash is going to be a little bit too big, too much for them. So I'll give them the edge.
How about the 9 seed, the Welsh Greyhounds versus the 24 seed Vornado? Gary, this one's going to get ugly and going to get ugly quick. Welsh, bad taste in their mouth last week from the loss with Notre Dame. I hate to be the team that has to play Welsh this week because that football team's going to be ready. They're going to be focused, and they're going to be hitting on all cylinders at Greyhound Stadium come Friday night. I think Welsh is on their way to the second round of the playoffs.
Most definitely, I agree with you. So I think it's going to be Welsh. I think it's going to get ugly fast, and it's going to be even worse in the second half. I think it's going to be, oh my God.
Get your starters out.
Yeah.
Save them for that round 2.
Most definitely.
8 seed Oak Grove versus 25 seed Centerville. We had this matchup.
Right.
Not sure why we didn't put it on the table.
Centerville is right here.
Centerville right there. Oak Grove right here. We should have put it on the table.
Yeah.
My mistake for that one, Gary Swallow.
That's okay. Hey.
Oak Grove, full of tradition.
Right.
They just seem like they're always in the picture when it comes to competing for state titles.
Most definitely.
Centerville, we talked to the players and the coaches in the preseason. Love what they're doing there.
Right.
But they got to run into Oak Grove in the first round. That's no easy task. That's a hike up there to Oak Grove. Gary, I think Oak Grove is on a quest to meet with Welsh in the second round. I like Oak Grove.
I like Oak Grove myself. I don't see Centerville. I think Centerville's gonna try to keep it close, but I think Oak Grove is gonna be a little too much.
Yeah, Oak Grove, they start their next season, and all their eyes are on a state title because at Oak Grove, before the season starts, it's let's go to the state title.
Right. Oh, most definitely.
12 seed Oakdale Warriors versus 21 seed Franklin Hornets. We talked about it earlier. This is the game that Under the Lights gets the broadcast this week. We said it earlier. Franklin could give Oakdale problems in the passing attack. They got athletes all over the field with Franklin. Oakdale could give Franklin problems by just running that smash mouth offense and keeping the ball away from that offense. So you got 12 versus 21. Tough matchup. And it's going to be a great matchup, Gary Swallow.
I'm going Oakdale.
Oakdale Warriors at home for Mr. Swallow. I hope it's a 4-quarter war because I would love to call a great contest Friday night.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching you, Mikey. Even though I won't be there, I'm going to be watching on the feed. So go for it, buddy.
Warriors at home. I think Oakdale wins and heads to the second round.
Correct.
How about Oberlin and Gaydon? This is a rematch.
Yep, sure is.
13 versus 20. Oberlin versus Gaydon for the right to take on the Bearcats for a second time.
Right.
How did this bracket fall out into the district play, huh?
I was like going, my God, look at what they did.
You got 2 district teams playing. Winner of that plays another district team.
Right. It's amazing.
Seedings.
Right.
13-20 for the right to take on 4 at Hanson Field next week. Who's going back to Hanson Field, Gary?
I'll be honest with you, I got to give the edge to Oberlin. But I think these two teams, since they know each other so well, it could go either way. But I'm going to give the edge to Oberlin.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with a home team here. Oberlin coming off of a loss to Ville Platte last week. Nobody pretty much seemed to see it coming here at the panel.
Right.
But that's why you play the game. Can they get it back on track? Or can Gaydon come in and spoil the party? Gaydon got a shot. They got a really good shot. They got a talented quarterback over there at Gaydon. Can they do enough to knock off Oberlin? It's going to be close. It's going to be real, real close. And for this night, I got to roll with the home team.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Grand Lake versus LaSalle. 14 versus 19. Who you like, Mr. Swallow?
Grand Lake.
Grand Lake it is. At home, be a tough night to stop that offense.
Correct.
11 seed Arcadia versus 22 seed Lake Arthur. One of those 1A versus 2A matchups here, with the 1A ranked higher than the 2A. So does that game mean something with your pick here? Or does Arcadia take care of business at home? Can Lake Arthur go on the road and win this one?
I think Lake Arthur can go on the road and give them some trouble, but I think Arcadia is going to be they're going to take advantage of that home field. So I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, I actually had Arcadia in my quarterfinals on Sunday, so I'm going to stick with Arcadia in this one and say they move on. But Lake Arthur ain't going to make it easy for them.
No, it's going to be a scrappy game.
Gary Swallow, White Castle versus Delcom. 6 versus 27. Give me a pick.
White Castle.
White Castle? All right. So we always have upsets in a bracket, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Here's your first one.
Oh, really? You think so?
We don't know. But I'm rolling with Delcom over White Castle
Okay.
in this matchup. Seed East Feliciana versus 23 seed Elton. A lot of people talking about this East Feliciana football team, saying they can make a run for the state title. Gary, this is one of those 2A versus 1As where a lot of people didn't really think it was fair, but you still got to line up and play 4 quarters.
Right.
East Feliciana gets the win.
I agree. I think Elton has had a great turnaround season, but I think East Feliciana is going to be a little bit too much for him.
15 seed Jeanerette versus 18 seed Delhi. Winner of this gets Homer next week. Good God.
How to say that? Be careful what you wish for. I think Jeanerette's going to do it at home, but I think once they get after this, they're going to run into a buzzsaw of Homer. I'm
going to agree with you, my friend. Give me Jeanerette also, but don't be surprised if Delhi takes off with this one.
Correct. I mean, we're in the playoffs. It's 0-0, remember?
We go to Division II Select.
Division 3, right? Or Division 2?
We're at, yes, Division 3, my friend.
Division 3 Select?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, buddy.
Division 3 Select. 8 teams receive the first round bye. Newman, ULAB, Calvary Baptist, Dunham, Notre Dame, Episcopal, North Caddo, and St. Charles. Congratulations to those 8.
Yeah, sir.
Mr. Gary having some trouble here finding the brackets.
Yeah, I'm making sure I got everything right. All right, that's cool. I'll figure it out later.
15 seed Ascension Episcopal versus 18 seed Patrick Taylor. Winner of this gets the state champs in the second round. I'll get us going, Gary. Give me the Blue Gators at home.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, Division. No, that's Division 3. What that's my Division 3. Select or non-select?
Select, my friend.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
let me help you out,
Yeah.
sir. Right here, sir.
I got it. Oh, you're going that way. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're coming up.
I sure am. Ascension Episcopal or Patrick Taylor?
Ascension Episcopal.
10 seed Parkview Baptist versus 23 seed Holy Savior Menard. Parkview Baptist bounce back this week, or
yeah.
Menard goes on the road and steals the show?
Parkview Baptist.
I agree. 14 seed Catholic of New Iberia versus 19 seed Lake Charles College Prep. Big matchup here, Gary.
Man, I gotta go with Prep.
Gary, I gotta agree with you.
I'm going with Prep.
Lake Charles College Prep, one of those 19 seeds
Mm-hmm.
that could stir up madness
You right.
in this playoff format. Not familiar with seeing Lake Charles College Prep ranked that low,
Yeah.
but you look at some of the teams they played this season and where their record lies in the playoffs, but that's still a good football team.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. We just have to speed up our process.
All right. Let's go.
Division 3 non-select, my friend. Manny, St. James, Union Parish, and Bogalusa receive first round buys, and that's a good list right there.
Yes, it is. Most definitely.
We start off with making some picks here. 16 seed Caldwell Parish versus 17 seed Richwood, my friend. Who you like?
I'm gonna go Caldwell Parish.
Gary likes Caldwell Parish. I like Richwood on the road, Gary. The
It's gonna
district,
be interesting.
the district that they played in up north, and the close games they've encountered, I gotta go Richwood.
Yeah. I was gearing towards them, but I just said I think the home field is gonna help them out.
Rose Pine versus Red River. This is a 9 versus a 24 rematch
Right.
of last year's second round playoffs. This time they meet in the first round.
Right.
And we all remember how last year turned out
Mhm.
with that 2-point conversion for the win in overtime. I don't know if this game lives up to the hype this year.
I don't know.
I think Rose Pine might come in and take this game. What do you think?
I agree. Rose Pine.
Rose Pine it is. 8 seed Pine versus 25 seed Westlake, my friend.
Give me Pine.
You like Pine?
Yeah.
Gary, I'm going Westlake on the road.
Okay.
Upset in the first round.
Hey, it could happen.
Gary, you know what will not be an upset in the first round?
The next game.
The next game we pick. 5 seed Avoyos versus 28 seed Lakeside.
Avoy's big.
Avoyos big. I'm not sure if they score 80 this week, but they got a shot to hit that 50 mark again.
Most definitely.
How about 12 seed South Plaquemines versus 21 seed St. Helena?
I'm going South Plaquemine.
You like South Plaquemines, Gary? I'm going St. Helena
Okay, go for it.
on the road. Oh, we disagreeing here in Division
Hey,
3.
that's okay. That's good. It makes things interesting.
13 seed Lowerville versus 20 seed Valdelia.
Lowerville.
Lowerville Tigers,
Yep.
roll.
Yep.
I like Lowerville myself, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
How about 11 seed Patterson versus 22 seed Port Allen?
Patterson.
Patterson with that air raid offense gets it done at home.
Most definitely.
Good to see Mamu make the playoffs this year, Gary. They're going to take on Winfield with a 6 versus 27 matchup. Winfield going to be too strong in this
Right.
one. and take this one at home. But good to see Mamu get in.
Right. Ooh.
15 seed Jules Sumner versus 18 seed Berwick.
I think Jules Summer's going to do it at home.
And I'm going Berwick, my friend.
Oh, hey. I think that's going to be a good ball game.
I think that is going to be a good ball game, my friend. All right, Gary.
Okay.
Division 2?
Division 2, select or non-select?
Select.
Okay. Okay.
Here's your buys. St. Thomas More, Madison Prep, John F. Kennedy, E.D. White, De La Salle, LCA, Archbishop Shaw, and Turlings. Receive first round buys in the Division 2 select bracket.
Right.
We start off our picks with number 9, St. Louis Catholic versus number 24, Northside Vikings. Saints roll and the Saints roll on.
Yes. I agree.
Good luck, Coach Mathern. How about, man, we ain't, all of our locals have buys.
Yeah, all of our, that's what I was getting ready to say. The locals have buys.
All right, how about Evangel versus Estruma? 13 versus 20.
Evangel.
Estruma.
Okay. Let's do it.
Gary, where's Chris Esprit when you need him?
I know it. He should be here.
He should be in the chat tonight telling us we sound like some fools.
Yeah, he probably will.
11 seed McDonough 35 versus 22 seed Peabody. Congratulations to Coach Harry Coleman and the War Horses at Peabody for making it into the playoffs year one under the Harry Coleman era. But for round one, I got to go with McDonough 35.
Yeah, me too. I think they're going to be a little bit too much. Although Peabody was part of that barn burner you watched.
Correct.
You know, I think McDonough 35 is going to be too much.
Gary, here's a matchup for you. 14 seed. Here's their name. Lord Beaconsfield Landry. Who in the hell is that?
I have no idea. But they're playing against Vanderbilt Catholic.
They're going to take on the 19 seed Vanderbilt Catholic.
I'm not familiar with them. I'm going to go Vanderbilt.
I'm going Vanderbilt Catholic also. That's a new face to me.
I don't know what they might have been another name before, but that's a new one on me.
All right, 15 seed George Washington Carver versus 18 seed Booker T. Washington of New Orleans.
I've watched.
L.B. Landry was Landry Walker, but this name says Lord Beaconsfield Landry.
That's L.B. Landry. That's what it is. L.B. Landry.
Oh, you sure are right, my friend.
Yeah.
That is the old Landry Walker. You sure you still want to stick with your pick?
You
might want to change it.
I actually do.
Go ahead. Go.
I'm saying.
You got Landry Walker now?
Yes, if that's Landry Walker, yeah, I'm going with them.
Okay, I'm going to stick with Vanderbilt Catholic. George Washington Carver versus Booker T. Washington out of New Orleans.
I'm going Booker T.
Out of New Orleans?
Yes, sir. We've watched them play before, and they've been playing good. I'm going to go Booker T. Washington on the road.
And I'm going George Washington Carver at home.
Okay, let's do it.
What a night.
Hey, we're finally getting some splits, man. All right.
Division 2 non-select. A lot of our locals are in this one.
The buys.
Troy told me to change my pick, and I already folded my paper. Here's your buys. Iowa, North Dakota, OHS, and West Feliciana. Troy, let us know when we go mute again.
Yeah. That way we'll make sure we got it right.
16 seed Bruley versus 17 seed Abbeville. You know I got to roll with my Wildcats from Abbeville, Louisiana.
I'm with you, brother.
On the road. Let's go, Coach Moy.
Yeah,
Get it done.
Abbeville.
Abbeville Wildcats on the road. Set up a matchup with Iowa. And if that happens, I might have to give a phone call and try to set that matchup up next week.
You right.
But tough team to beat in Bruley.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be a good one.
Yep.
That's one of the better 16-17 matchups I've seen the entire bracket so far.
You're right.
So I'm going with Abbeville. Gary's going with Abbeville.
Right.
9-seed Leesville versus 24-seed Peril River.
Leesville, Wampus Cats.
Wampus Cats and that talented running back Run Wild on Friday nights.
That's right.
Right into the second round. 8-seed Plaquemine versus 25-seed Jennings. Is this the final dance for Coach Ed Jennings, or can he get another win?
I'm hoping that he does, but I don't think so. I think Plaquemine's going to be a little bit too much for him. My heart is going to be with Jennings, but like I said, I think my head's going to have to tell me Plaquemine.
I agree, my friend. 5-seed Carroll versus 28-seed Bro Bridge. Carroll, even
Carroll.
without the coaches,
I'm going Carroll.
I still think they win this game at home. That's still a good football team because they didn't lose any players.
Correct.
Your rematch. Hard to beat somebody twice. And the score could be a lot more respectful this time, and we could see a 4-quarter football game.
I'm still going Iota.
12-seed Iota versus 21-seed Northwest
Right.
Raiders. Bulldogs Raiders, Part 2. For the right to go to the second round. You're going Iota?
I'm going Iota.
I'm going Iota myself, my friend. How about 13-seed Cecilia versus 20-seed Franklinton?
I'm going Cecilia.
I'm going Franklinton.
Okay.
11.
Okay, we'll just have to yell. It's all good.
You better talk up.
We have to talk up, man.
Talk up, Gary. See if Troy can hear you.
Can y'all hear me? Troy, can you hear me? How about now, guys? Y'all can y'all hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy says we good. We just got to talk a little louder. The mics ain't really working right now, so talking loud. But that's good. I got a big mouth.
Yeah. What we said, St. Martinville Thursday night. Both of us agree. Take down the red.
Yes, sir.
Okay. A rematch between the Battling Bears and the Rain Wolves with a game that just went down to the wire when they met in the regular season, my friend. This game lived up to all the phases of Game of the Year caliber.
Right.
It is part 2, and this is not your traditional seeds with a 7 seed versus a 26 seed. Church Point Rain, part 2. Who gets the win?
I'm going with Church Point. I'm not going to pick against them. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Church Point's going to actually make it a more one-sided game than
It's going to be
Before.
more
I think it's going to be
separated
more
this time.
separation as far as the score. I think they're going to know what to do, what to expect, and I think Church Point's going to win.
Okay, I agree, my friend. Battling Bears. That's one of your teams that you could see make a run.
Correct.
10 seed Franklin Parish versus 23 seed North Vermilion. North Vermilion, they've had some big wins this year.
Yes, they have.
But they got to run into Franklin Parish in the first round. That's a tough draw, and I like Franklin Parish at home.
I do too. I think it could be a little bit too much for them.
This is KATC's game of the week.
Yep.
15 seed ERAV versus 18 seed Eunice. This is one of those games where 3A is playing 4A.
Right.
Does that matter in this matchup, or you think this is just one of those really good draws in the first round that people are going to be blessed to witness?
I think it's going to be a good game, but I think Eunice's size and everything, I think Eunice is going to overpower ERAP. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but ERAF, the way they've been playing these last few weeks,
Right.
it's hard not to pick them.
Correct, but I just think that Eunice is going to be a little bit too much. They playing at ERAP. That's going to give ERAP the little edge. But I think Eunice is going to go in there and take it.
These two teams met back a few years ago when Mitchell was the starting tailback
Right.
at ERAF.
Correct.
I went and watched that playoff game, and then the next week, ERAF welcomed in the, I think, eventual state champs. But this game was at Eunice then. Now at ERAF, I like the way the ERAF Bobcats have been playing the last few weeks. Battle of the Bobcats in this one.
Right.
And I like ERAF.
Okay.
Just the way they've been playing.
Oh, I understand totally.
Division I Select, ladies and gentlemen. We start off with 16 seed Tioga versus 17 seed Captain Shreve.
I'm going Captain Shreve.
You think so?
Yes, sir.
I agree, sir.
Captain Shreve.
9 seed Acadiana Wrecking Rams versus 24 seed Riverdale. Hello, how are you? Good night. Fear to fear.
That's right. Fear the Beer, Acadiana Rose.
How about our friends down there at St. Paul's, the broadcast team down there? They're going to take on Holy Cross. 12 versus 21. St. Paul's at home.
Yes, sir.
Sets
St.
up
Paul.
a big matchup next week.
Yes, sir.
Gary Swallow, 13 seed Brother Martin, 20 seed Woodlawn of Baton Rouge. Who you like?
Brother Mark.
Woodlawn of Baton Rouge.
Sorry.
Sunday I put Woodlawn all the way in the quarterfinals, remember?
Yes, I sure do.
I gotta pick them first round.
Hey, got it. That's why they play the game.
14 seed Huntington versus 19 seed Jesuits.
I'm going Jesuit.
I agree. I agree with you.
I'm going Jesuit.
I didn't think you was gonna lean with me right now.
No, I think I've always did like Jesuit. I've liked them for years.
10 seed Scotlandville versus 23 seed East Jefferson.
Ooh. Give me Scotlandville.
Gotta roll with BR. Scotlandville. Troy, are you still in the chat, Troy? Because if you are, I want to know who you picking in this next game. Because I don't know what to pick.
Ooh, boy, that's a good matchup.
Archbishop Rummel or John Eric, Troy? While I eat my milk duds.
That's good Halloween candy.
Troy says Rummel. I I got to roll with Troy.
I was going there myself. I'm going Rummel.
And your Division I teams that received their first round bye: Warren Easton, Cameron Crowe, Northwood Shreveport, St. Aug, John Curtis, Berg, Edna Carr, and Catholic BR.
Look out.
Final bracket of the night goes to Division I non-select. Ruston, Southside, Destrehan, and Neville received first round byes. So many good matchups here, Gary, where we might see a lot of upsets first round in this
First round,
bracket.
I think this one's going to be the most upsets.
We start off with 16 seed Hanville versus 17 seed Ouachita Parish. Gary, long road trip for Parish down to Hanville, but I still think they go and win this football game. We give to Ouachita Parish.
Wow. Man. I'm gonna go with you. I think that's gonna. I think no matter what, they've been playing some good ball this year. So,
Tough district.
Yeah, tough district, but I'm gonna go Ouachita Parish.
Number 9, Denham Springs hosts number 24, Covington. I think Denham Springs has a breakout game, and they win this one big.
Yes, sir. I agree. Cool.
5 seed, your defending state champs, Zachary versus 28 seed Santa Mont.
Wow, that's gonna be a good ball game.
Broncos roll big. Last week they lost. You know Coach Brew's gonna have that team focused, ready to go, and they gonna score, and they gonna score often.
I'm gonna go with Zachary too. I think it's gonna be a good ball game till probably about midway third quarter. Then I think Zachary's gonna pull away. But I think Zachary's gonna be too much.
How about 14 seed Dutchtown versus 19 seed Parkway?
Ooh, man. I'm going Dutchtown.
I'm gonna go Parkway.
Okay.
11 seed East St. John versus 22 seed Walker. East St. John
Yes, sir.
flexes their muscles all the way into the second round.
Most definitely.
Ten seed Westgate, your defending state champs. Welcome in 23 seed Bell Chase. Westgate, after going through a grueling district, can they get it going in the playoffs?
Yes.
You know they're playing up in classification though.
Yes, I do, but I think they are still the defending state champions, got a lot of pride, and I think they're gonna get it done the first week.
15 seed, I like Westgate myself. 15 seed East Ascension versus 18 seed West Ouachita. Last week, they knocked off Ash in double overtime. Can that momentum feed into this week and get them another big time win? We looked at the panel this weekend, and a lot of these teams have put East Ascension in the semis.
Right.
One even put them in the dome. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that like this East Ascension football team to you.
I like them this week, but that's almost where it's gonna stop. I'll say, this week I think they win.
I think this is going to be a thrilling contest. West Ouachita going to give them all they can handle. I think at the end, East Ascension finds a way to win a first round matchup.
Tell you what, that's some interesting games. week 1, anything is possible. Gonna be interesting, Jordan.
Yes, indeed, my friend. All right, that's all the games that we're going to pick this week. We should have a lot of games to pick next week.
Oh yeah, we're gonna probably hit every one of them next week because there's gonna be probably some interesting outcomes this week, and Lord knows who's playing who next week.
We'll know about 9:30, 10 o'clock Friday night.
Friday night, right?
Friday night, we will be live from Oakdale, Louisiana, as we give everyone 12 seed Oakdale and 21 seed Franklin live on Under the Lights. Gary, let's close the door on week 11 Wednesday night show. Final thoughts as we head into the playoffs this week.
Man, final thoughts. A lot of great matchups. A lot of seeds that were far apart in numbers as far as their seeding, but very close in talent. I think we're going to have some upsets. I think we're going to have some wows, some great games. Look forward to next week whenever we can actually get to
Get a good feel.
more of the competition, because there's not going to be any more buys. The buys are done. Next week is the real playoff push from there to the dome. So I can't wait to see that. I'm excited. Remember, all you guys, do your best, work hard, focus, because this may be your last time playing football for all the seniors out there. So do your best, have fun, leave everything on the field, and have a great Friday night.
Coaches, keep your phones ready. Because after these matchups are set in stone,
We're going to be calling.
we're going to be calling to book our second round matchup this week. Gary Swallow, about another toast as we head into week 11.
Yes, sir.
High school football.
Look forward to it.
We shut the door on Wednesday night's show. Thanks everyone for tuning in with us and liking, sharing, and commenting and following us along the way.
All you guys in the chats, thank you.
Oak Grove, welcome to the table. All of our loyal listeners that listen week in and week out, we hate that it's coming close to an end.
Right.
Only 4 more rodeos.
That's right. But you know what? It's been a great year, but it's just been too fast.
In 2023, we are in store for even bigger things.
Right. Most definitely.
We shut the door, we say good night, and we want to wish all the coaches from around the state and their players best of luck in the first round of the playoffs. We can't wait to see what's in store in all these scores.
Yes, sir.
Good night from Opelousas, Louisiana, from myself, Jordan Taylor, and Mr. Gary Swallow. We'll see you in Oakdale Friday night.